What is up? Welcome back to another Salt and Pauper Saturday video. And for those of you who don't know, Ravnica Remastered releases this weekend. And if you're not aware, that means we get some brand new cards to the Pauper format. So without any further ado, let's hit the intro and take a look at some brand new cards entering the Pauper format and what you may see them played in. All right, starting off with the very first card, we have Boros Elite. This is a 1-mana human soldier, 1/1 with Battalion. Whenever Boros Elite and at least 2 other creatures attack, it gets +2/+2 in end of turn. So this allows a 1-drop to attack for 3. It is a mono-white human, which is kind of interesting because Rally at the Hornenberg gives humans haste, so there may be a Boros human flavored aggro deck that also has access to something like Burning Tree Emissary, which is also a human that can get haste off of the Rally. So imagine you get to go turn 1 Boros Elite. You would need some sort of mana trick to filter or get 2 red or a red-green off of your lands, plus maybe a Lotus Petal or something, into turn 2 for a Burning Tree Emissary into a Rally. But that can be a really, really powerful attack. You're attacking for, what, 4, 5, 6, 7 on turn 2. Really interesting card next to Rally at the Hornenberg, I think. Not sure it fits anywhere else in the current metagame, although like Boros Bully has been seeing a little bit more play lately, so maybe that makes it next to something like Battle Screech, but I don't really think it's efficient enough for that. I think this would really have to see home in an aggro deck. Moving on, we have Sinister Sabotage. This is a 3-mana instant for blue colorless. You get counter target spell, Surveil 1. This is, quite frankly, I don't think ever going to see play. It just isn't as efficient as running actual Counterspell or Prohibit or, any of those, Arcane Denial even in the Turbo Fog list. It really just doesn't do enough for 3 mana, I don't think. This one probably won't see any play. This looks like a draft chat for sure. Next up is Greater Forgeling. This is a 5-mana elemental. It's a 3/4 for 3 and 2 red, and it has red colorless as an activated ability. It gets +3/-3, so it can turn itself into a 6/1. Yeah, another card that's just not going to see play. This is definitely just draft chaff. Not really sure why it needed to be a common. Quite frankly, I think this was fine at uncommon. But it's in the format now, and I don't ever expect to see it again, but it's here. Next up, we have Tin Street Dodger. This is a 1/1 Goblin Rogue for 1 red. It has haste, so it's a 1/1 Goblin for 1 with haste. That's not bad. And it has an activated ability of 1 red. Tin Street Dodger can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with Defender. So it has sort of a Ginger Brute-esque ability. Not 100% sure this is going to see played, but it is worth noting this is a Goblin with haste, so it probably will see some testing. At the end of the day, Goblins are just playable most of the time, but I don't think this one's going to make the cut, especially when we look at things like Tomb Raider and Blast Runner. I mean, we just have much stronger red 1-drops at the moment. Next up, we have a new green card, Sprouting Renewal. This is a 3-mana sorcery for a green and 2 colorless. We have Convoke, so your creatures can tap to cast the spell for you, and you get to choose one. You create a 2/2 green and white elf knight creature token with vigilance, or you destroy target artifact or enchantment. Honestly, if this was an instant, I think it might be playable. As a sorcery, it's just not good enough. As a 3-drop, especially in an underrepresented color currently like green, it doesn't ramp. It doesn't exile an artifact or enchantment. It really just isn't quite good enough, I don't think, at 3 mana. Sad, but green's lack of love in Pauper just kind of continues here. Next up, we have Judge's Familiar. This one I am personally excited about. I think it might be the best, if not one of the top two. This is a 1/1 bird for a hybrid blue-white. It has flying, and you can sacrifice it to counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1. So it has sort of a force spike attached to it. Besides that, it is a 1/1 flying creature for 1. So I think there's some merit here. This card is quite good. I don't 100% know what it's played in yet, but I certainly think there is a deck for this. If it's not mono blue like tempo, then certainly something like Kagates might be interested in something like this. But ultimately not 100% sure. It is worth noting it is a blue creature, so it can convoke Meeting of the Minds in something like Familiars, although I don't think this will make the cut in Familiars, even though it is a familiar. But in something like Kagates, it can flashback Prismatic Strands because it is also a white creature. So there's definitely some merit there. It's in good colors. It's efficient for its stat line. Not sure it does enough, but it's certainly worth testing out. So I'm excited that it's entering the format. This one, Boros Elite, and one other that we're covering here in just a second are definitely cards that I expect to be played with. Not 100% sure where the meta will settle, but I think they are on the right power level. The next card is not one of those cards. It's Merfolk of the Depths. This is a 6-mana Merfolk soldier for 4 and 2 hybrid blue or green mana. You have a 4/2 flash creature. This card is just a bolt magnet. It's bad. Don't play it. Moving on. I think I would rather play Greater Forgeling than this, and that says a lot because I want nothing to do with Greater Forgeling. But last on the list, I think, is probably the best card entering the format. This is Slitherhead. It is a 1/1 plant zombie for a black or green hybrid mana. And it has Scavenge 0. So if this card is in your graveyard, you can pay 0 to exile it and put a 1/1 counter equal to its power on target creature. So for 0 mana, you get a 1/1 counter placed on something. It is a 1/1 for 1. This card is fantastic in a lot of the like self-mill strategies that aren't relying on things like Lotleth Giant one-shot, so maybe Tortured Existence decks can use this card. But I also think something as simple as maybe like Mono Black Gardens or Mono Black, or even just a Mono Green like Stompy deck like there used to be in the format could see use out of this card. I think this card does a lot for its mana cost, and I think that it is a good and efficient creature. Ultimately, I think this card is quite good, and I expect it to see some play. I don't know if there's a deck that it finds a home in right away, but I certainly expect there to be people playing with this card and trying to find out what it's good in, and I think it will land in something. So keep a lookout. If you haven't ordered your foils of Slitherhead, Judge's Familiar, and Boros Elite, I would pick those up now. But that is all the cards that are entering the Pauper format with Ravnica Remastered. So hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think of the cards entering the format down below. I really do appreciate the conversation. As always, in the description below, there's a link to join the Discord. So hop in the community there. Let's talk about some pre-release spoilers, pre-release deck strategies as well. We are going over Murder at Tarkov Manor in the spoiler channel as well. So if you're interested in seeing some of the previews and talking about what might be good for the new set coming up shortly after this one, we're talking about it there too. But thank you so much, guys, for watching and spending your Saturday with me as usual. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you made it to the end of the video. I would appreciate it, and have a good weekend. Good luck in your leagues. And as usual, goodbye forever. Let's see you next time. Peace out.